Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the NECA Lone Ranger and Tonto. Now, I'm reviewing these two together because much like the Green Hornet and Kato, there's no real point in reviewing them separately because if you're going to buy one, you're going to buy the other. Unless you're just a huge Johnny Depp fan and you buy everything he's a character of, which I suppose could happen, but this is a Lone Ranger movie, and he's not the Lone Ranger. Anyways, the first figure up, of course, the namesake. Let's get the light down in here a little bit better. Armie Hammer, who I don't think I've ever seen anything he's been in, unfortunately. But I hear good things about the movie at this point. I was really dreading it, but I've seen 2 reviews so far. They both say it's great, so hopefully it stacks up. He, of course, comes with his hat, his 2 pistols, and that appears to be it. The box on these is really, really simple. There's just a larger picture of the figures all geared up on the back. Tonto, of course, over here, comes with a tomahawk and a knife. So, not a horrible lot to say about the packaging, but they both look great, as NECA products usually do. Let's open them up. And here we have the Ranger and Tonto out of the packaging. Now, me personally being more excited for the Ranger, we'll have a look at him first. I do like how both his pistols fit in his hand. You can get both the fingers to go through the trigger guards, which, let's zoom in on that. Little details like that are really what make or break a figure, and NECA almost always has that little attention to detail on there. Very nice. Of course, very nice detail on the gun belt. You can actually pull the revolvers out, and if I can get them out of here, slip it right there in the holster. You gotta kind of fight with the jacket just a little bit, but it's not too hard. And there you go. The jacket does kind of cover it up imposing. I can't imagine too many people want him posed without his pistols. But nice detail all the way around. You can actually see the gun belt. There's a few spaces in between them, like, oh, a few of the shells have been pulled out, a few are still in there, and you can't really see too clearly, but they do look like silver. Of course, the Ranger uses silver bullets. Let's zoom back out here. Of course, the hat, there's not too much on it, but while the camera may not show it great, it's kind of more of a tan than a white. It's got this gold hat band around it. So that's a nice little detail. Man, let's, if I can get him standing one more time, pick it up. Very nice job on the face. The mask looks leathery, and it really stands out apart from the rest of the face. I actually had a friend who cut the mask off, and they have sculpted the face, like there's an etched out hollow place underneath it where the mask just kind of fits. Really nice detail from NECA. They really did a great job with his stubble coming in, like he's got the faint edges of a beard starting to fade in. Turn around, his little bandana, the mask is tied in the back. And I really love the texture on the jacket. You can see his Ranger badge over there. It looks worn, it definitely looks leathery, it's kind of dirty. Good stuff. That kind of worn, I've been walking through the dirt and the dust look goes all the way down to the boot, which is really nice. No spurs on the Lone Ranger. That's kind of odd for a Western, but, oh well, it's not like I really care. So, as far as his articulation, he does left and right at the head, slight up and down. Looks like he can do a full 360 if you want to fight it, but the red little neckerchief thing is a separate piece. You have to fight that all the way around. Arms go out to about here. Do a full 360. They bend and spin at the elbow, and the wrists are on a ball joint. There's no abdomen crunch whatsoever, looks like, but, well, I take it back, there's a slight one. Mainly coming from it, well, yep, it's a little hindered by the vest, but it's definitely there. Of course, the torso's got some very nice movement, side to side, up and down. Legs go forward, back, and out. They're a little bit stiff in going out, but once you work them around, they'll be just fine. Knees bend and spin. And looks like, if I can get it down here, the way his pants come down in the cuff is hindering the boot a little bit. It feels like they're all the same kind of ball joint the wrists are, but I can't be completely sure with that. But let's get his hat back on. But yeah, I'm definitely loving the Ranger. While I expected it to be the other way around, with Tonto being, the star and Armie Hammer being kind of a no-name actor. Well, not really a no-name, that's not fair, but not quite as famous. I definitely thought that it would be, you know, Tonto be flying off the shelf and the Ranger be clogging up the place. But I love the figure. It's definitely a new look, and the first time I saw it, I didn't really like how it looked, you know, a little too business suity for me, but it's definitely grown on me, and I can't say I love the movie yet, but I definitely have high hopes. And that being said, let's move on to Tonto. And here we have Tonto out of the packaging. Now, he's a very nice looking figure. I don't know exactly what they did for Johnny Depp, like they did a full body paint for him, but it's got to be something like that. But besides the fact that he's, you know, obviously got the brown skin on, all the brown skin paint on him, who is obviously a very white actor, they've done a very nice job doing that, but the texture on him where it's supposed to be mud and the paint is really where this figure stands out. You can see the marks there, and I obviously don't know if those are going to symbolize anything in the movie. Of course, he's got the solid white face. The crow, I believe he said, was from some painting, and he says the crow is like a spirit guide. It shows him where to go or something like that. Yeah, well, I'm not... You know, the Lone Ranger was definitely a new look, and it took some getting used to. Tonto took far more getting used to. But NECA's done a great job capturing all the little things they've done with his outfit. His knife does have a sheath over here, which it fits very nicely, and you can pull it out. I'm really surprised NECA, with all the props they're doing for the Lone Ranger, they've done masks and badges. They haven't done a tomahawk for Tonto. They did a tomahawk for Jonah Hex. So they definitely got some experience doing it. Let's actually get his knife in his hand real quick. So, you know, it's taken some getting used to, which I think is arguable, you know, Johnny Depp playing Tonto, but I have made peace with it. Now, his articulation, I do think it's kind of strange how his whole, you know, all his hair comes straight up like that, but that's not really the fault of the figure in NECA. He said go straight up, does a full 360, you kind of got to watch the chest piece here. You know, kudos to them for doing all these little pieces, you know, free hanging, and all of them have really great detail on them. Arms do a full 360, go out to here, I believe they... No, it looks like it would have a bicep joint, but it doesn't. Bend and spin at the elbow. Have the same kind of ball jointed wrist the Ranger has. You know, I said when I did the Ranger I thought he had an ab crunch, but I don't think it's true. I think it's just the same kind of torso joint they've got here that allows a little bit of a lean. I don't know what the technical term for it is. Kind of has the same function though. Left and right. His legs are a bit more stiff than the Ranger's. They go out, back, you know, about out to there. Knee joint bends and spins, and a much more freer moving joint than the Ranger's, which, yeah, you can get the ankle pivot forward and back. So, well, I'm not crazy about the way Tonto look, and, you know, I have no qualms about Johnny Depp as an actor. I think he's a fantastic actor, but, you know, him playing Tonto is definitely a stretch. You know, the more peace I make with it, the more stuff I see about the movie, it definitely looks, you know, like he's doing a great job. But that being said, let's get a full thoughts on both figures. So at the end of the day, NECA has once again knocked it out of the park with detail. These are two absolutely stunningly beautiful figures. I can't recommend them alone just based on the detail. Now, I'm a little bit worried that this is going to be like Jonah Hex. You know, Jonah Hex came out, an obscure comic book character that I love. NECA made toys. I fell absolutely in love with the toys and despised the movie. I don't think that's going to be the case because the Lone Ranger's so old. I'm so prepared for them to make so many changes, you know, just to make him fit. And if I love the movie, NECA also does 1/4 versions of both these figures. I'll definitely be picking those up. As it stands, these can be found in your local Toys R Us or similar-minded shops. They have them all online. They're running you about $15 a pop, which I think is more than fair. Side note, if you're going to Toys R Us, they had these in a really odd spot. They weren't with NECA figures like they should be. They were in the middle of the Despicable Me toys. Don't know why, but they were. So be prepared to do a little searching. If you're a Lone Ranger fan, you should pick these up. If you're not, you should be. And if you're just a fan of NECA products, these are definitely not on a, you know, these are definitely must-owns. That being said, this is JTrain997. Can't wait to see how the movie turns out, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.